I'm in a very foul mood. Let's get this out of the way. Not a good mood today. I actually redid the intro because I started swearing very early on, and I don't want to start off swearing. That's not how you get rid of a bad mood, people. You get rid of a bad mood and you get a good mood by staying optimistic. So we were supposed to do D&D today, and then our party broke up because one person had internet problems and another had internet problems, and then they were solved, and then everyone else was like, "We're gonna play this random ass game." Great, great. It's not like I enjoy doing what I do. Now that's selfish. But still, come on. I'm sad. Now my entire weekend has basically been bummed because I tend not to do much with my Saturday because I'm like, ooh, Sunday's when the fun starts, and so I don't get my fun on Sunday. It's like my Saturday got wasted too. It's an unpleasant experience. It's very, very. I have a lot of regrets. I don't feel good about a lot of things right now. So let's focus on the good stuff. Now, for someone who's 26 years old, Adine sure has a very optimistic view on things. I forgot. See, I keep turning this on and off. Also, here's the thing to consider. While the timeline is never elaborated as to how long it took between now and when Izumi originally left, I think it's very telling that the myth that A, they were able to defund the entire astronomy department to an extent that they weren't able to do this properly, and two, the fact that they have basically said, forget about that thing where they talked about the apocalypse. I mean, just think about this real hard. It takes a long time for this to happen. This doesn't happen in a generation. This takes a generation to get going and then a generation to actually get somewhere. That's usually how change works. Although nowadays things are going just wishy-washy every which way. It's impressive that we actually only got halfway. Even though Adine's, central narrative conflict has been resolved, and we're now talking about, the thing that has much more to do with, the overarching story, it's kind of interesting that we're only halfway through the date, which is, it says something, I think. I'm changing this a tweak, tiny tweak. Can I ask another question? You've already asked, several questions at this point. You've asked, how religious are you? And why? I'm pretty sure that asking another question is what you're looking for. Why would you can I ask a question? You've asked so many questions. I think someone actually, in another date, has pointed that out. That it's kind of stupid that you're asking that. Also, I want to make a video at some point where okay, this was because someone said, hey, you should play System Shock. And I was like, okay. Oh, I already have System Shock, you don't have to buy it for me. I want to talk about the page for this. I've done suspension of disbelief because, as I said, the story works well as long as you only play it once. If you play this game multiple times or start to look closely at the text, it just falls apart. Again, very different medium. The fact that all this is here this is something I've learned. This is the biggest lesson I've learned from this. There is a reason why video games are video games and not books. This display, the characters on screen, the little polish up with the name and the little UI and the background, and the music adds so much to the experience that claiming that this is in any way that watching all the translation videos and looking at all the text, that doesn't replace the actual game. The game is the accumulation, and that's a good thing because that means the game that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, and that's always important because if it isn't, you're just a hack. Basic requirement to making a good game. It's worth more than all the stuff that went in originally. But yeah, I want to talk about this because I think it would be good that after all this, I sort of analyze it. Also, I want to analyze this because the fact that this is the first screenshot you see if you don't have autoplay on, it's not a good screenshot. This is just a cringe-worthy line. It's alright in context. It tells you everything you need to know about Anna being a bitch, but I don't think it's a great opening. This isn't either. This is a bit better. It's like, hey, you're hanging out with people, having fun, having a blast. This one, I don't even know why I bother putting that in your intros, but yeah, I want to talk about this sometime. Also talk about the fact that certain things, like, I want to compare it to the Indiegogo campaign, because the Indiegogo campaign is a lot more verbal about certain things. Make deep, impactful choices. Not really. No, not really. There's only a few of them, and they're not that big. But that's the usual guff. Everyone's like, oh man, so much changes. But yeah, I'm not gonna. I don't think a lot of games can do that. I think The Witcher is one of the few games that can do that, because The Witcher is like, let's account for all possible outcomes, and it's like, well, I mean, I guess you did, but on the other hand, it kind of disjoints your narrative, because you can't tell a good story if the story has to be 800 different stories at the same time. It doesn't work. You need, at some point, refuse and refocus. Or else, all your little soldier men are like all the way over there, and you're like, man, how am I supposed to do anything if all of them are all over the place? You asked so many already, another one doesn't matter. The problem is, you're not really a time traveler. Technically, yes. On a strict dictionary term, you are from the future. But usually when people are from the future, they're like what I like to call a significant future. If you come from tomorrow, you're not a real time traveler. You're just a dude from tomorrow. Sure, you know some stuff about to happen tomorrow, but fun fact, that's probably not important. I don't give a damn if I happen to trip on the sidewalk, and you're like, don't trip on the sidewalk. I'm like, unless you come from 15 years in the future, in which case that tripping does something major, you're not a significant time traveler. It doesn't matter what you did. Which is kind of what the player is. You're not really time traveling to the past as much as you're looping to fix things. It's less time travel and more Groundhog Day. I think those are two different times of time travel. One is you're trying to fix things by just doing the same thing over and over again. The other is you're legitimately going back to a past in which you didn't do certain things to fix them. Like, I don't know, like, it feels very presumptuous to say you're a time traveler in this context. Because I feel that if you're a real time traveler, really going to the past, you are in a far enough future where the consequences have already played out, instead of going back before the consequences have a major impact. Which is kind of the truth, because major impacts usually aren't part of the endings, in a sense. In a weird sense. This works a bit better. It's like, hey, could you not make jokes about that? I know Adine is not the kind of snide, sarcastic person, but I imagine at this point she's kind of like, come on, man, come on. Oh, that's so cute. That's so cute! How can you not like this person? She's like, here's the thing I don't like about a lot of D&D people, is when you meet up with a person, they're always like, I'm not going to help you, you're going to have to roll to get me to help you. I'm like, no, don't do that. So I have a scene in mind for a thing I probably won't even gem, but it works. It's you come into a bar, everyone is xenophobic and hates you. And yes, you need to get them to help you, but there's a motivation for it. There's like a motivation more than I want something out of this. There's a lot of people in the world who'll do something for you for free because they believe in the goodness of their heart. You need to give a motivation for people to be a dick. Unless you want a grim world, in which case, congratulations, your players are going to hate your fucking guts in a few hours. Because if you're in a grim, gritty world, fun fact, you're the problem. The players aren't grim or gritty, you are. You're the GM, you're making everyone an asshole. You're gonna be an asshole, essentially. You are attracting that context to you. Make some characters that are just like, hey, I'm gonna help you out. It's like, hey, big smile, big wink, 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 nudge, nudge, going for it. Sure, your players will be paranoid as fuck, but that's the fun part, is you're like, why don't you trust them? They've been genuine. It's great, good stuff. And in my mind, it's like, well, they're xenophobic about it. And they're like, hey, you wanna arm wrestle? And even if they win, he's gonna be like, eh. And it's like, why not? And like, I'm gonna have to fucking agree to anything. That's what the barkeep's gonna do. He's just gonna be like, well, you won the arm wrestling contest, but why the fuck should I honor my deal with you? And what's the player gonna do, huh? Go to a guard and be like, hey, he promised me something. And then the inevitable crashes through the wall and goes, you didn't live up to your contract. Prepare to be terminated. But yeah, the point is, I hate that. I hate that train of thought of, you can do this, or you have to do this. It's just, no. Give some personality. Maybe all they want is a silver piece. Maybe all they want is like a little nudge, like a little like wink, wink, hey, hey. Here's the, like, if you're asking someone a question and they're like being snide about it, why would they? Who the hell is going to be like, oh, I'm going to tell you the time if you fetch me the golden watch of the ancient arcana? It's like, no one's going to do it. They're going to be like, hey, okay, this is the time. And they don't give a shit. They're neutral. They don't know you, but it's a minimal effort. It's minimal fucking effort. Why would they care? I walk by a bunch of kids late at night who are like playing in a little soccer field, and they're like, "Hey, dude, what's the time?" And I'm like, "It's 6." And they're like, "Okay, thank you." Why? Like, I know you want to create conflict, but you can create conflict in different ways, you know? Like, you could do it afterwards. They could be like, "Okay, it's 6, so what's in it for me?" And he pulls out a gun, and he's like, "You know, you can make a big hubbub, or you can do what I say." Yeah, play it up a little bit. Play with the tropes. Don't make the tropes. Change them. Make them fun. Make it exciting. Make a character who is actually suspicious for being nice. After you've made so many characters, do something with it. Play with it. Don't make every single person an obstacle. People can be nice. People can be cooperative, and they don't have to be the quest giver. You can walk into a town, and you're told, like, "They will never help you." And they're like, "Oh, we don't help that guy because he's an asshole, but we'll help you because we don't know you." I don't know. That's a fun twist turnaround, wouldn't it be? It's like, prepare your diplomacy rolls. And they roll crap, and you're like, "Oh, they help you anyway because they don't care." It doesn't matter to them. Ugh, I just hate it. I just fucking hate it when they do that. Listen, if you've got a good like, there's a reason people can be conmen. You can be a conman because people assume the best. There's a reason you can walk into a building past security because the guards aren't going to assume, like, they're going to be like, "Okay, that guy walks in so confidently, he probably belongs here." Like, they're not going to get out of there because they're lazy. Always rely on the social inertia of people. They're going to assume the best, and they're going to do what takes the least effort, unless they're specifically told or instructed or forced otherwise. Which is kind of the problem, is, why the hell would I take the effort to extort you for money for telling you the time? That's a lot of effort. And a lot of risk to getting my face punched in. I'm just saying, the amount of times people do that for no specific reason is just dumb. Ugh. That's why I like Adine, is she's just a zero-friction girl. Sure, she's upset over the whole dream thing, but it makes sense. Like, there's a reason for her to be upset, because it's her dreams. You're asking her to throw away her dream. She'd naturally show some friction. But even then, the friction is, like, small. Like, nice, simple, smooth character. Nice, simple lady. All the simple ladies, as they say. This is a very good point. Like, this is a very, very good point. I like this logic. It's nice little Adine logic. I like this. They only mentioned a human. Singular. I don't know what's it called. Enkelvoud. Singular. There we go. It's enkelvoud and meervoud, and you might notice that the vout is at the end. Ain't that nice? Creates a nice. God damn it! I'm spitting all over the screen. Not the screen. Oh hecky. This might be too long. The sentence might need to be cropped. But I like this. Like, is it so hard for some people to just admit, I don't know? Like, Ipsum is such a fucking snide asshole of like, oh, we know this about the portal. And it's like, you started off with a theory, and now you're saying you 100% know this? And you're like, ah. Like, this, I love. Admit you don't know. People speculate, and they just don't know. I know that humans they love being like, I know this thing, so I always know this thing, even if it's dead fucking wrong. Look at Mother Cluckin' Einstein! That jackass held on to wrong beliefs for years, despite it forming the basis of modern society. And we still think he's smart. That's a dangerous thing to do, by the way. I really love that there's a little bit of truth to everything. Like, there were other people, and they were killed during the rebellion. And here, it's like, they were married for... Like, it's so nice how all these little myths and speculations kind of have nuggets of truth to them. This is great writing, because once you know the whole truth, you're like, hey, Adine mentioned all that, didn't she? It's cute, it's adorable, it's fun. And it's also so subtle, and it's in a conversation you're not going to take at face value. It's great! This is how you make a good, like, little nod to the end game. People are like, hey, you know that. And that also isn't technically incorrect in a way. Man, can you imagine Adine at first, like, when she comes to your world and she's like, wow, this place is pretty goddamn crummy, ain't it? Then again, it's implied that nature is doing fine. Like, what exactly... Like, a solar flare isn't going to destroy nature. Nature, if anything, is going to be off just fine. Which creates this odd thing of, like, nature is doing fine, but humanity's just kind of crumbing it up. I mean, this is fair enough. Like, it's only been like a few weeks. Odds are there's not much speculation going on to begin with. I like this train of thought of, like, they're gonna send a dragon probably with, like, a video camera, right? Like, he's gonna record something. But why not? You've already mentioned that Earth is fucked up. Then again, maybe the whole problem is like, actually the world is fine, it's just humanity's fucked up, and the dragons are like, what the hell is your problem? There's food everywhere! What is your problem? Like, everything is fine, you're just being a puss. Big puss. Or maybe it's out of military. But the dragons don't seem to have a military. Like, there's no draft or anything, so I don't think the dragons could ever mobilize in that way either. Not to mention, wouldn't you get to select your ambassador and pick someone who, I don't know, is sensitive? Especially since Emra knows she'd probably push for that kind of ambassador. Anyway, let's cut it off here. Next time is the Adine shower scene. Which is an interesting scene, to say the least. Why didn't she put the bandage back on? Or did she go to a doctor for that? Aw, so cute. Next time, Adine, the shower scene, which is not nearly as it's not nearly as exciting as it sounds, which is kind of goofy. What a nice long episode. I don't know what that's about, but yeah.